Okay. Good evening. We're going to finish today the sugya of poilim. The poilim. We said that how severe it is. There are five lavim you can be over and one asay. In fact, there's a sefer called Avos Chesed written by the Chafetz Chaim, who writes about the severity. He has a whole pesicha. It's a very good makar for those people who are in a position of paying workers. It's a very good piece to go through. It's much too long for this program, but I went through it today. Very fascinating. So it's a good makar, pesicha to paying poilim in the sefer Avos Chesed. Okay, we're finishing off today, and we said that in order to be over Baal Solin, we need the worker to make a claim in this man after. So if he's a night worker, a claim during the day. If he's a day worker, a claim at night. And a failure to do that, then the owner won't be over on Baal Solin. If during that time he does claim and he says that he was paid and he says he wasn't paid, then we saw the chiddush yesterday that a takana kavua was done. That nishba v'noitel, that in fact, instead of nishba, that the balabas will swear, the poil swears and he's going to take it, right? That's what we saw yesterday. What about after this man? Then it's not nishba anymore. However, the Mishnah said, in Yesh Eidim, we're on Kuf Yud Gimel on the base, 6 lines down. In Yesh Eidim Shetavu, if there's Eidim that is Taveya, how you say Nishba v'noito. Now the Havamina is, according to Tosfos, let's see Tosfos, the third Tosfos down, Sal Kedaitach, this is the Havamina, that Hashta in Yesh Eidim Shetavu Hainu Afilu Agasmano. In other words, if you have Eidim that you go, that's Taveya even after this man. So it's speaking that the Eidim are coming after this man, okay? And then we said Nishba v'noito. Says the Gemara, in Yesh Eidim Shetavu, how you say Nishba v'noito? Fred the Gemara v'tavu l'kamon. Why do we need Eidim if it's after this man? After all, he's being Taveya. In other words, Bishlema, if it's during this man, I would think that if the guy claims you weren't Taveya and he had Eidim that you were Taveya, Nishba v'noito. On the other hand, if it's after this man, once it's after this man, l'chora, apparently, you should not be able to swear. Because we have a chazaka yesterday, we have 2 chazakas, A, that the guy make the claim, and B, that the balabas is not going to be over by Solon. We had 2 chazakas yesterday. So if it's speaking after this man, what the Eidim help? Just like he could be Taveya, the Eidim could be Taveya, what's it helping us? Fred the Gemara, come on. After the Gemara, Amar Vasi, Shetavu Bismano. Oh, you have Eidim that he was Taveya Bisman, right? Good. In other words, and therefore Nishba v'noito. So it's speaking after this man, but you have Eidim that he was Taveya during this man. Fred the Gemara v'dilma lebasi hachi para. Why Nishba v'noito? Maybe after the Eidim said he was Taveya, the balabas paid him up. So Mabaya shetavu kol zmanoi, that the Eidim that he was Taveya the whole zman, right? And therefore, since it was Taveya, the whole Zman, that whole owner, that whole time period where he would have been over Baal Solin, and he made that claim, therefore, Nishba v'noito. Fred Gemara la'olam, would he have to go ahead and make a shvua forever? So, in other words, do we believe the whole Zman? In other words, isn't there any statutory limitations for the time of this claim? So, Rav Chama Barukva, Keneged Oisa Hayoim Shel Tviyah. Whatever let's say he's a day worker, a night worker, and he's paid during the day, a whole Zman, a whole owner would count towards that time. But after that, then not. So the chiddush over here is that if you have Eidim after this man, that he was Taveya the whole time during this man, then Nishba v'noitel, the fact, even though it's after this man. Okay, the next sugya is a whole new ball of wax, and it's the following sugya. There's 2 parshiyos of it. This is the one in Mishpatim. In Kesef Talves Ami, when Kesef, you'll lend to your fellow Jew, Esani Imach, Leisiela Kenoisha, don't go ahead and claim it from him. Leisasimu Lav Neshech, nor should you place you should not go place ribis on it. Im Chovel Tachbel Salmas Reyecha, if you take a mashkin of the salma of your friend, Ad Bo Hashemesh Tishiben Alo, till the sun comes, you should return it to him. Kihu ksusay levada. He needs it. What's he going to lie down? What's he going to lie down on? Well, he's going to cry. He doesn't have his blanket or his beged. I'm going to hear, and I am chanan. So, what is this lashon of imchavol tachbol? Says Rashi, imchavol tachbol, kol lashon chavola, einoi mashkin b'shas halva. This is not a mashkin at the time of the halva. Elishma mashkin es haloive kishmagia man. We would take a mashkin from the loive when we reach the time, and he doesn't pay. So there's basically two types of mashkin. So in other words, the bank gives you a loan, a mortgage, because they have the house as a mashkin. They're going to they have it. That's called a mashkin b'shas halva. Okay. The discussion in our Mishnah is not a mashkin b'shas halva. It's a mashkin shaloi b'shas halva. The loan took place and came the zman of the payment, and you couldn't pay. So the malva took hold of a mashkin to go ahead. Now there's a mitzvah to go ahead. If it's a beged laila, to give it to him at night. If it's a beged yoim, to give him during the day. It's a mitzvah to give it back to him and only hold him. And at a certain point in time, you could sell it. But there's a mitzvah to return it. And there's other psukim in. There's a pasuk in Devarim. Lo yachbol reichayim v'rechev. Do not take a mashkin of his millstone. Ki nefesh oichevel, because you're taking away his parnasa. He's a miller. He needs these millstones. It's not dafka millstones. It would ever be his parnasa. Don't take away his parnasa. Don't take away his, and now who takes the mashkin, and how is it taken? That's the discussion of our Mishnah. Okay, who takes the mashkin? How? That's the discussion on Mishka and on Mishnah. Okay, so the hakdama to the sugya is that we're speaking about a mashkin shaloi b'shas halva, and therefore there's a mitzvah to go ahead and return the mashkin. There's a mitzvah to go ahead and return the mashkin when in the time when the loiva needs the mashkin. Says the Mishnah, Amal be'eskaveiroi, if a person goes to Hedvad and lends his friend, and he doesn't pay up, and now you're going to take a mashkin, lo yimshachenu ela bebezdin. You yourself can't take the mashkin. Bezdin has to take the mashkin. Bezdin has to take the mashkin. You can't take the mashkin. Lo yikonis the beisai little mashkainoi, and one can't go into his house to take the mashkin. We're going to see that's machloikis whether Bezdin can go in the house or not. Shenemar, it says b'chutz tamoid. It says the lashon of the pasuk is b'chutz tamoid. Stand outside. V'oish asher tenoy shaboy, and the man that owes you yotzi elecha es ha'ovid achutza. He'll bring you out to you. He'll bring out the ovid. He'll bring out the mashkin. So therefore, it can only be you can't do it, as it says b'chutz tamoid, and you go. You have to stand outside. And we're going to see machlokes whether Bezdin can go in the house or not. Hayoloi shnei kalim. If he has two kalim and the chayiv is connected both of the kalim, and you took the kalim for the chayiv, you took the kalim for the chayiv. Echad maniach and noitel echad maniach echad. Noitel echad, you take one and you return one. Says Rashi. Noitel echad u'machzir echad. B'shashut sarach lezeh. The time he needs this one, yachziren, and return it to him. Mishum hachazares ha'ovet. V'yakiv es hasheni, you're keeping your possession the other one. Ukashis tarach zel hasheni, and he needs this second one. Yitaz es harishin, you take the first one. V'yachzes hasheni, kinefarish miyazol. So, for example, you take his pajamas and you take his shirt. So at night you take his shirt and you return the pajamas. During the day you take his pajamas and you return and you take his shirt. Right. So again, you have two, the shirt and the pajamas. They equal the value of the loan, and therefore go ahead, take one and return the other. Machzer esakar balayla, ve'es hamachresha b'yoyim. Return his pillow at night and his plow during the day. Right? That's the example. That would be example of what we just said. You take the mashkin. I gave an example of a shirt and pajamas. The Mishnah gives an example of a pillow and a plow. A pillow obviously is for nighttime, and a plow is for daytime. The mace, and if the loiva dies, Eina machzil yarshav. Then the malva does not have to return the mashkin to the yarshav. If the leiva dies, he doesn't have the malva does not have to return it to the leiva. Even to the leiva himself, he only has to return it up to what? Up to 30 days. We'll see in the Gemara what exactly Rabbi Shimon Gamliel means. This 30 days. When we're shleishing on the halal from 30 days and on, you're going to sell it in Bezdin. Okay, the first din is, let's go, we're going to do with the first din. The din is malva mashkin. The mashkin shloi b'sas halva we're speaking about. And the question is that who goes in and takes it out? Certainly from the Mishnah we see that the malva is unable to. What about the shliach of Bezdin? Can the shliach of Bezdin take it out? Amashmur. Shliach Bezdin, the shliach of Bezdin, minatech netuche in. He can go ahead and he can take the mashkin in the street. Aval mishkune, but to go ahead and take it from the guy's house, that you can't do. So to go ahead and grab it from the street, you could do, but the mashkin in the house, not. So according to Shmuel, you can never, and no one can enter the house. No one. If Bezdin can't, you certainly can't, the malva, and if Bezdin can't, then no one can. So you have to wait till he brings it out to you. But if someone lends his friend, only bebezdin, mechlal we can infer the bebezdin mashkinin. That bezdin, in fact, what you could mashman bezdin, you could. So how could Kashan Shmuel, guys? Let's get Shmuel straight. We're going to ask on Shmuel. Says Shmuel Adin that even bezdin cannot go into the house. Fred the Gemara, it's mashma that you can't take the mashkin. Bezdin could take the mashkin. The assumption is, where can Bezdin take the mashkin from? From the house. So that's, and so Shmuel will tell you no. Ema lo yinatchu ela bebezdin, that you can't take it at all. In other words, you the malva, even if you see the lova in the street, you can't go ahead and take from him the mashkin. Only Bezdin to take the mashkin from him. Hachinami mistarba to say that's pshat. The Tani Seifa, because we learned in the Seifa of the Mishnah, lo yikonis the beisai little mashkanoi. You can't go into his house to take the mashkin. Now, money. Who are we speaking about? Elam of Balchayt. If you can speak about the malva, Meresha Shmami. No, we hear that from the Mishnah. The Mishnah says only Bezdin the chayr can go in. Ella, when it says you can't go in, Elav shliach Bezdin. So it's mashma that lot from the Mishnah that no one can take it. Guys, look back to the Mishnah. Mashma that what? He can't do it. The malva can't do it. Correct? Only Bezdin. Now, now who is that? If it's the person, you heard it from the first clause. So it must be Bezdin. The person himself cannot take it any time, right? So the first clause is what? You can't Bezdin, and even Bezdin can only what? Take it if it's in the street. Bezdin can't go in the house. Says Gemara, you have no raya. That's not exactly a raya. Here's the way I could read the Mishnah. If someone lends his friend money, or anything, I don't know why I said money, anything, he can't go again and get a mashkin, only bebezdin. Mashma that what? Not like Shmuel, that bezdin can go into the house. Also can't go in. In order that the malva should not what go into the house. So it's no raya. Could be best that goes in the house, but we're just telling you that the malva can't go in the house. Must the Rabbi Yosef going to ask on Shmuel? What does Shmuel say, guys? Shmuel says that what? That Bezdin can't go in the house. Must the Rabbi Yosef? The pasuk says lo yachbol rechayim v'rochev. You can't take what? His millstone. Hadvar macherim mashma anything else you could take. Like sachbol beged almana. You can't take the beged of almana. Hashalachayim tachbol. But if you're not an almana, no, it means almana you can't take any security from. You can't take any mashkin from. Mashen kain over here you could. Now man, who's taking these things? So two dinim. One, you can't go ahead and take the device that a person is going to make his parnasa from. You can't take, and it says you can't take the beged of almana. But we're going to see it means what? Anything. Much other people you could take. Who are we talking about taking? He named a bal chayv haksiv le'savay al beis le'lav and it says he can't come in. El alav, it must be what? Shliach Bezdin. It's telling us a Shliach Bezdin can't take certain things, but other things you could take. A Shliach A shliach bezdin can't take from an almana, but he could take from other people. A shliach bezdin can't take a rechayim v'rachav, but he could take other things. Where's he taking it from? Inside the house. Kashan Shmuel, Tergiver Rav Papa, Bereider Rav Nachman, Kameider Rav Yosef. Rav Papa, the son of Rav Nachman, said in front of Rav Yosef, Vimila Rav Papa, Bereider Rav Yosef, Kameider Rav Yosef, not in front of, he was in front of Rav Yosef. Lo'ilam B'Bal Chayv. It's speaking about Bal Chayv, and Ulav or love Bishnei Lavim. Einachinami. It's Isser is that lot. It's speaking about Bal Chayv. In other words, I don't know about Bezdin can't go in. A Malva also can't go in. But if a Malva goes in, he's going to be over on 2 lavin, fellas. It's going to be over on 2 lavin. That's the Chiddush over here. That he's going to be over on 2 lavin. If Bezdin would go in, they'd be only over on 1 lav. But if he goes in, then he would be over on 2 lavin. Be over this of Achavu Rechayim, Oy Beged Almana, and don't make the diak that other people it's muta, but I think Devar Macherim over 1 second. Rashi, Loilam Bal Chayv, V'loi Teidak Minei HaKelim Acherim Chavel. Don't make the diak that other kelim you could take. The kelim acherim oivim mishum loisavay el beisai. The kelim himself, you'll be over on not coming to his house. Ulahachi itzrich lahaisif lav sheni mishum vechayim v'rochev v'chad mishum loisavay el beisai. Okay, what was that diak? A diak is it's going on the shliach bezdin kasha on Shmuel. No, it's not going on shliach bezdin. It's not speaking about shliach bezdin at all. Shliach bezdin is not allowed at all. The diak over here that you're making is not the right diak. The diak is that if you take one thing, you're over on 1 lav. If you take the rechayim and the rochev, then you'll be over on 2 lavim. But it's speaking about the Bal Chayv. It's not speaking about the Shliach Bezdin. We thought it's speaking about the Shliach Bezdin. Kasha and Shmuel, it's not speaking about the Shliach Bezdin. It's speaking about the Bal Chayv. And the diak you made that you could take other things. No, don't take other things. You only be over 1 thing. You take the rochav and the rechayim and the rochav, you be over on 2 things. Okay. Toshma. Mimash m'shenemar b'chutz tamoid. It says you stay outside. Any yedei sha'ish asher atanoisha b'yoytza. Guys, what does the pasuk say? B'chutz tamoid. Stand outside. V'yoish asher atanoisha b'yoytza. The person that owes you. Yoitzi Alecha. So now when it says B'chutz Tamid, don't I know Sheisha Shatinoisha by Yoitzi? Who else is going to bring it out? Elamat Tamid Loimar Ve'ish, the Rabbi Shliach Bezdin. It's to include the Shliach Bezdin. Okay. Rashi, Sheikonis L'toich Abayis, Vachikama. Deho Ish, Dehu Shliach Bezdin, Vashat Ashenoisha by Yoitzi Alecha. So here's the way you read the pasuk. B'chutz Tamid, stay outside, Deho Ish, and the Shliach Bezdin, or Ashat Noishaba, the one that owes you, right? Now we thought the Isha Ashat Noishaba is going on 1 person. With Ashting Va'ish, the Shliach Bezdin, and Ashat Noishaba is speaking about the Leiva. So my lab Shliach Bezdin Kaleiva on the base. The Shliach Bezdin is like the Leiva, and therefore he can bring it out. Loi Shliach Bezdin is Kamalva. Here's where you read the pasuk. Rashi. B'chutz tamoid ata v'ha'ish shehu shliach bezdin. You stand outside, and the ish, who's the shliach bezdin, is also outside. The ashat hanoishabay, and the one that yotzi alamis. So the question is, where do you put the comma? Do you read the pasuk like this? B'chutz tamoid, stand outside. V'ha'ish ashat hanoishabay yotzi alecha, and then the shliach bezdin and or the life will bring it out to you. Or you read it this way: B'chutz tamid v'ha'ish. You stand outside the malva v'ha'ish and the shliach bezdin and asher tanoisha bayin. Okay, so that's the way we read it. By putting the comma after v'ha'ish makes that the shliach bezdin is outside. Okay. Toshma. Okay, the pasuk says, "Im chabal tachbal samas reyecha." This is what we saw in Mishpatim. if you're going to go ahead, man, and take the clothing of your friend, b'shliach bezdin akasim medaber. It's speaking about a shliach bezdin. Atayim b'shliach bezdin. You know, it's speaking about a shliach bezdin. Akasim medaber ein ela b'bal chayiv. Maybe it's speaking about the malva. Kishuoymer leisavu el beisay lavar avaytay. When the pasuk says you can't come into his house to take what is of it, you can't come into the house to take the mashkin. Hari bal chayiv omer that he can't go in. Hamani mekayim and chobol tachbol samas ve'echa. B'shliach bezdin akasim medaber. So obviously, he must be speaking about shliach bezdin. That it went. So lachari, you have a kasha and Shmuel, and it's a checkmate. Shmuel he has nowhere to go. So again, in learning, fellas, when the Amari is slugged up, he will always try to find a Tana who goes that he goes in conjunction with. So that's what happens over here. And Tanayi, you say it's machlokes Tanayim. Tanayi, it's machlokes Tanayim. The Tanya, shliach bezdin sheboy lemashkenoi. A shliach bezdin that's coming to take a mashkin. Lo yikonis lebeisoi lemashkenoi. Aloim bebechutz. V'alo moitz lo mashkin. Shenemar bechutz tamoid. He stands outside. V'oish. Okay, that's Shmuel, guys. So Shmuel's good. Shmuel has somebody. Shmuel has a Tana that he can go according to, right? Someone you stand outside. You stand outside. The shliach bezdin stands outside, and therefore, okay. The Tanya idach, another brisa. Balchayv shebo lemashkinoi, a balchayv that comes to take a mashkin. Lo yikonis lebeisei lemashkinoi, he can't go in the house to take a mashkin. Aloimi bechutz, he stands outside. Behalo nichtus l'moitzi lemashkinoi. Shnema bechutz tamoy b'shliach bezdin shebo lemashkinoi. Hari say nichtus lebeisei. The shliach bezdin goes into the house. Umimashkinoi. So there you have your machlokes tanoim. The first Tana in the brisa, according to Shmuel, the shliach bezdin doesn't go in. The second brisa, the shliach bezdin does go in. And the things that you're allowed to take, the brisa continues. You can't take something that he cooks with, something that he needs to cook. You can't take. Okay. The noisein mita, 2 beds, umatzah, and a felt covering, a felt mat, la'asher. Mita, 2 beds, umapitz, and a mat of reeds, la'ani, right? Okay, loy, for his bed, you can't take what from his children, right? You can't take what to them. Just like we go ahead and we evaluate the loiva, how much he needs. We evaluate the loiva, how much he needs, and then we leave that. A person says, Erki Yalai, and he owes money to Beis HaMikdash, and he's down on his luck. We'll go ahead and evaluate how much he needs, and we'll take X amount and leave X amount. So the Gemara is going to ask, Erchin is the main source for this halacha, not mashkin. The Gemara right away, Klape Laya, you're going in the right direction. Ikasidu be'erchin ksiv. The main idea of evaluating the person's monetary status and what you can take and what you can't take is said by Erchin. Elaima, read it this way. Just like we assess by Erchin, kach masaj on the balchayv. Okay, we just read a long brisa. What do we need from this brisa, fellas? We needed 2 things. Actually, 1 thing. That Shmuel's machlokes tanayim. So again, if you're just doing the daf, meaning if you just woke up and you're listening now, all you have to know is that our Mishnah said the following: there's a din of a mashkin shaloi b'shas halva, right? And we have a machlokes whether a shliach bezdin can go in or not. Shmuel says a shliach bezdin cannot go in. There's another brisa that says a shliach bezdin could go in to get the mashkin. But everyone holds that that the person that's owed the money has to stand outside. The person that's owed the money, the malva, he has to stand outside. Now we're just going to go over the brisa that we said previously. Why it's necessary to have 2 beds? Why not kids? Let's see. Says the Gemara. Amamar. Noisein mita umita. Right? You give them to the malva 2 beds. Umatza. And it seems type of felt covering that you can lie down the asher. Umata mata umapetz la'ani. So this is what we leave. In other words, we don't give this to the malva. This is what we evaluate and keep in the house of the loiva. So when you're going to take a mashkin, fellas, you're not going to take beds and you're not going to take a mat because he needs that, as we're going to see in a second. Now, Laman, okay? Ilema leishtai ulamanav lebanaisav. You leave it for his wife and kids. Ha'amrit loi, only from him. Avaloi leishtai ulabanav lebanaisav. You don't touch their belongings. Ella idri lididei. It's speaking the two beds are for him. Vitarti. Why do you need two beds? Lomali chada, one. The achalallah, one bed that he eats on. We know they used to incline in those days. Just check out the Seder when we do Haseba. V'chada, and the other bed is Zagala, that he would go ahead and lie down upon. Now, why doesn't he sleep upon his bed? We're going to get some medical advice from Shmuel. We'll get some medical advice from Shmuel. Okay? So therefore, Kiddush Shmuel, Dama Shmuel, Kol Mili Yodana Asusayu. All things, Shmuel was an expert physician, everything I can cure. Levar Mehani Tlas. These three things I can't cure. Man da'achal achina marira, someone who eats a bitter date, aliba rekana, before eating. On an empty stomach, he eats a bitter date. He's oif, as Kenny would tell you, he's oif kahak tzaris. Okay. Man, okay. Uman the asar misna the kisna v'tiva achartse, someone who ties a wet flax belt around himself, that also seems to be not so geschmack. And finally, what we need, umanda achol nahama, someone who eats bread, like miske arba gamidin, he doesn't walk 4 amas. So you know why you need two beds for one? Guys, he'd eat on one bed and you put the other bed 4 amas away to ensure after he eats, he's going to walk the 4 amas. So therefore, you leave it 2 beds by him. You don't take them. He needs them. Very, 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 very important to have them. So the 2 beds, one to eat and the other one to keep 4 amas away. Tani Tana Kamed Rav Nachman, reciter by sent for Rav Nachman, Kiderach Shem Esajin Ba'erchin Kach B'Sajin B'Valchay. Just as we make an assessment before we take his money away by Erchin, what he needs and what he doesn't, we make the same thing by Mashkin. Amalei Rav Nachman, right? Hashta Sevune Mizavninan Le. Right? Now you're telling me you sell the stuff to pay off Sedurim Misadrinan Le. In other words, by the Mashkin, you're going to go ahead, what? And sell it to pay off his debt. So why are you going ahead, what? And making an assessment? Says the Gemara, Umi mizdavnele, is he able to sell it for Tanan? Machzir es hakar b'layla, es hamachresh b'yoyim. You return to him his pillow at night and his plow during the day, right? And you're not able to sell them. So what do you mean you could sell them? So it says, Tana Reb Shimon Gamliel Tana Kamei. Like the Tana said in front of Reb Shimon Gamliel, V'hachi Kamalei. Hashtal Reb Shimon Gamliel, who says you're going to sell it. Svunim Mizavnim Lei, Sdurim Misajin Lei. The Mishnah said Reb Shimon Gamliel says you sell it. So guys, here, like the Manta Omar, the first one that says you return it day and night, you don't sell it right away. So what's the Gemara's kasha? Misajin, you don't sell it. Yeah, I would understand why you make an assessment. But like Reb Shimon Gamliel, that you sell it, why are you making an assessment? Sell it. Why do you make an assessment? Says the Gemara. Reb Shimon Gamliel, ma'afli atzmei and a machzer, elat shleishim yoim, mikan ve'elech, meichrin bebezdin. So the Gemara's kasha is hash Reb Shimon Gamliel. Sevunim misavnu lei, that you're going to sell it after 30 days. Seduri misadrin lei. That non Reb Shimon Gamliel loyme afla atzmei ein a machzer elat shleishim yoim. Mikan ve'elech meichrin bebezdin. So the kasha was according to Reb Shimon Gamliel. Fred the Gemara. Umemai dechikam Reb Shimon Gamliel is that you sell it. Is Svuni Lagarmi Kamar. How do you know you meant you sell it in finality? Dil Mahachi Kamar. At Shleishim Yoim Hadalei Be'ena. You return the mashkin the way it is up to 30 days. You can't veilach after 30 days. Mahadalei Lamaida Chazilei. Mizavina Maida Chazilei. Let's say the guy sleeps on a great bed. He's sleeping on a Simmons a great bed. So if you're sleeping on a great bed, when the Shimon says you sell it, maybe he means not that you sell it completely, but you buy a cheaper mattress. In other words, what he's sleeping now on something luxurious, he doesn't need something luxurious. Sell the more expensive item and give him what? A smaller item. Maybe that's what he means. So how do you know for sure, Shimon Gamliel, that you sell it? Maybe you return to him what, and we sell what is above his needs. It says where Isak Daitach, the Islay of Shimon Gamliel High Svara, that you're going to sell the good stuff and leave the and make it buy the cheaper stuff, then lekamidi loichazile, that it's not seen. It is nothing that a person won't be seen to have. Damar Abaya says, in other words, every person is ready for a Simmons. I'm making this up. If such a good mattress, everyone's right for a Simmons mattress. Everyone. Why? Why? According to Reb Gamliel, Reb Gamliel. Rabbi says, Reb Gamliel, Reb Shimon ben Yochai, Reb Yishmael, Reb Akiva, Kula Svir Lahu, Kol Yisrael b'nei Malachim Haim. They're all b'nei Malachim, and since they're all b'nei Malachim, they're all roi for what? Since they're b'nei Malachim, they're all roi for a Simmons bed. So therefore, it can't be. So again, we have a kasha. Reb Shimon, why are we making an assessment? After all, you're going to sell it, so why are you assessing? And you can't tell me that you're going to sell the more expensive one and keep the cheaper one, because every one Jew is a Bnei Melech, as we just said. All these people. Now we're going to go ahead and find sources for all these people, right? So the first one, Shimon Gamliel. Where did Shimon Gamliel say that everyone is a Bnei Melech? That nan Mishnah and Shabbos with things that are muktzah. Lo yas aluf, you shouldn't go ahead and move aluf. Or mustard. Seems it's muktzah. I guess this is mustard seeds. Reb Shimon Gamliel matir beluf. He says that what you would be able to move luf if neishu Michael Arvin, because it's the food of ravens. It's the food of ravens. Now this is a fascinating Rashi over here. What? So look at the first wide line. Fascinating Rashi. Why would this be a proof of Malchus, Lu'uravim? V'Yisrael b'nei Malachim, v'yesh lehem legadol arvim lenoi u'leschaik. Those people who would raise ravens for their beauty and or to play with them, and the food of a raven is a life. And they live in Baltimore, right? I think the Ravens are going to have a good year.
Nevermore.
Okay. Anyway. So that's the first raya, guys. The first raya, the Shimon Gamliel is b'nei Malachim. So in other words, so it can't be selling the Simmons bed. We're just going to continue on and show, we're digressing, how each one of these Tanoim felt that what these are b'nei Malachim. So if the first one was Shimon Gamliel, Rabbi Shimon Yochai did nan, right? B'nei Malachim sachin shemen vered al gabi makoseim b'Shabbos. B'nei Malachim princes, they can go ahead and use some type of oil. Vered usually types as a rose. Usually, some of oil you could rub on Shabbos. Shekain dark and lust of b'chayil, because since they were such shtadi people, they would even use it during the week. Says Shimon Aimer, Kol Yisrael b'nei Malachim Haim. Everyone is b'nei Malachim, and they could use the shemen vered as well. This is of Shimon Shita that want that they're b'nei Malachim. Right. Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Yishmael, Rabbi Akiva. Where do you see b'nei Malachim? The Tanya. I show you Noishim by Elav Zuz. There was a loan. Someone owed 1,000 zuz. The lavish itztila bas meya mana, and he was wearing a fancy coat, right? And the coat was worth what? It was worth 10,000 zuz. So in other words, the coat was worth 10 times more than the loan. We take it off. We take off the custom-made suit and we give him LBC. We give him or Sims, right? We give him the Sims, some junk, right? And then we go ahead and sell that and pay it off. The Tani Mishum Rabbi Yishmael, the Tani Mishum Rabbi Akiva, Kol Yisrael Ru'uyin Lo Yisli Itztala. They're all right, right? They're all right for that Itztala. Okay, they're all right for that. So therefore, it can't be that you're selling the expensive mattress for the other thing. That we thought originally. That what? In other words, you sell the mattress and you give them the straw mattress. Bishleim carver casts, I can understand the mattress or a pillow. You can get a cheaper one. The chazilay, the beni, you get a less one. What kind of plow? What's the difference between one plow and another plow? Maybe it could be the guy has a silver plow. Guy has a silver plow. We go ahead and make him sell what? A plow that's something much less.